Hello there, welcome to Pen Positive. This is Vinod Narayan and thanks for tuning in. Today we have an interesting book, The Bomber Mafia by Malcolm Gladwell. That is his latest book. But before we get into the book, please do subscribe to the channel. If you are interested in podcast, I do a podcast called Pen Positive Outlaws. Please subscribe to that on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple, where I do a weekly journal, a podcasting journal of what I learn and what I think and what confuses me and what questions come to my mind, what conversations I have on a weekly basis. So Malcolm Gladwell is one of those authors whose all books I've read. And so when a new book is coming, I'm pretty excited about it. And I've been hearing about it, his conversation with Adam Grant, because Adam had his Think Again that came, and I had a video made on that after I read that. So I was waiting for Malcolm Gladwell's book. Now, so this is not a book review. It is a reader's experience, as I call it, because every time we read a book, we create a new version of the book. So if I read the book, there is a new version that I create. If you read the book, you create a new version. So we all have different experiences, and each new version is a reader's experience. So I am not fascinated with military and war and the whole war machinery. I'm not very interested in military history. I am not that obsessed with it. I like movies, but I've not to read a lot about what happened over there. That's me. So I should have thought that Bomber Mafia would mean that, because that's what it is all about. So when I started reading the book and I went through, I was saying it's about military. That's not Malcolm Gladwell that I know. That's not the book that I was expecting and everything. But Malcolm Gladwell himself says that this book is a service to his obsession about military history and war and everything. So I think I should not crib about, because he has said that it is a service to his obsession. And if my obsession is not that, then obviously I wouldn't feel for the book the same way he would feel. But all that changed when I probably 110, 120 pages into the book, and it's a 200-page book. I finished reading in 2 days. Things changed because I kind of figured out what Malcolm is getting at. It's about making certain decisions, When there is technologies, tools, how do we make decisions based on what we have in hand? The danger that we have in hand, the tools and techniques that we have to address the danger. Would you take a moral ground or would you take a different ground? And this is an interesting question, and that's one question that is going to be lingering in my mind for quite some time, because it's not just about military and war. If you look at other tools and technologies that are there to make our life better, is that what is happening when we decide to use them or not use them? Now, this book is all about the time when precision bombing from high up in the sky, if you want to bomb a precise point on the ground. This was not possible before. I mean, at least at that point of time, they were trying to build the bomb site where the idea was that you could, from up in the sky, you could bomb a pickle jar and you would go and hit on it. But it doesn't happen exactly like that now, obviously, but not during World War II. And this whole book revolves around the stories of different generals at that point of time. And what used to happen is area bombing, where if you want to bomb one place, you're probably going to be bombing a lot nearby places, which would mean that a lot of civilians are going to lose their life. What decision do you take at that point of time? But sometimes the thought is that if you don't do that, the war will be prolonged, which is worse than this collateral damage that might happen. I don't know. is that the decision you would take? I don't know. I've not been in that situation, so I can't really comment what is the situation, what is the decision I would take. See, when we look at World War II, what always comes to my mind is about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But in this book, Malcolm talks about the 1,600 tons of napalm that was put on Tokyo, and 16 square miles was destructed. And he explains a particular scene which is very difficult to read. That is when the bombing starts and houses collapse or start burning. Mothers run out of their houses with the kids in their back. And then they run and they find a safe place and they look back. And their babies, their kids would have been engulfed by the fire. It's very painful reading that. And that is before Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now, while he's writing the book, you're reading the book, these images come to you, and then you figure out how important precision bombing is. Yeah, you don't want bombing to happen, but at least when two countries are at war, the last thing you want are civilians to die because of that. And then the whole question, if you can do something to reduce the duration of the war and reduce the pain for a lot of people, would you make a choice? What decision would you take? We all have maybe not decisions that grave, but at least we have to make decisions in our life. So we have to make a choice whether we're going to win battle or we're going to work on winning the war. So that's the book Bomber Mafia by Malcolm Gladwell. Even for a person like me who is not much into military and war and such narratives, I think it was an interesting read. And there are some pointers which will remain with me, making me think in the coming days and weeks. Thanks, Malcolm. So I'll see you all again with another book. Till then, be content, be pen positive, stay safe, and please be kind. Thank you.